Yesterday I watched a news article, and it was about the so-called Brexit preppers. Now, if you don't know what a prepper is, it's some group of people, mainly in America, who prepare for the worst case scenario. They get food and they get ammunition and guns and God knows what else, just in case the world has come to an end by a financial crisis or other apocalyptic scenario. And these Brexit preppers on the BBC News were basically saying, well, if after the 29th of March, when we leave the EU, if there's no deal, then they are preparing for such a scenario just in case there's no supplies of food, etc. And the UK were faced with food shortage, and in fact, electricity shortage, gas shortage, petrol, etc. What the hell would we do? So I've hastily devised a survival kit, which if you want to go along with things and do a few preparing for yourself, then if you follow my advice, the pack I've devised will help you survive for a few months if you get the adequate supplies in. So stick around and prepare for Brexit with no deal. Well, March the 29th is coming up really soon. It's about 5 weeks away at the time of the date of this video. And although I don't believe that there will be major, I don't believe it's going to be a major crisis. I don't believe that we're going to be faced with empty shelves in the supermarkets or any gas shortages or electricity shortages. I thought that to save the hassle of any possible shortage, I best come up with some sort of idea for you, the viewer, to make preparations if that scenario should arise. And it's going to be certainly going to be better than pasta and beans, like the people on the article which I saw on the news yesterday. Now, the ration pack, which I've loosely based on the Army daily ration pack, which I used to use when I was serving in the British Army, is going to be used by 2 people. Obviously, if you're living on your own, then it will last you twice as long. And the products which I've put into the pack are non-dependent on refrigeration, and they don't need much heating if there is any heating involved. And I've even devised a way to heat the products up without the use of a cooker. I'll explain that a bit further later on. And it's devised on the basis that the shit has hit the fan, basically, and there's no gas, no electric, no petrol, no food on the shelves. And well, if that happens, if you take this advice, you will be able to survive without those things. So, first meal of the day, breakfast. So what have I got in the pack? Well, porridge oats. Porridge oats, nothing major about them, but they're a good start for the day. They're obviously dry packed. You don't need to refrigerate it. You don't need to store it. You just need to store it in a dry place. To go with the porridge, bit of evaporated milk. Again, tin milk. You don't depend. It'll last for a few days once opened. If you like coffee, bit of coffee, small sachets. Obviously, if you don't like coffee, you can have some tea bags. Same principle. These come with sugar in, so you don't need to even buy sugar. A bit of chocolate. These small bars are okay. One of these, bit of porridge, a drink. If you don't like tea or coffee, you can probably get some of these. Basic orange juice packs, cheap as chips. And there's your breakfast. Right, next we've got lunch. Now lunch, okay, you don't have to eat that much, but you need something to sustain you till tea time. So what I've come up with is you've got noodles. You have these. You can put these noodles on. Add a few more things. You can add some sweet corn, perhaps, which is in the kit, if you follow my advice. Or you can chop some hot dogs. Obviously, if you're a vegetarian, don't bother with those. Or you can add some beans. And if you don't fancy anything like that, you can probably keep that till later on. So a packet of crisps. And, you've got some tuna here you can put with the noodles if you want to. And some digestive biscuits. Now, these digestive biscuits also complement paste, believe it or not. If you spread some paste on these biscuits, they'll act as crackers, and they'll add a bit of roughage into your diet for the day. And well, obviously, if you don't like meat or chicken, you can have beef. If you don't like meat at all, then just eat the biscuits as they are. And that's the lunch, basically. And now we come to the main meal of the day, dinner, or tea if you want to call it tea. But anyway, it's the main meal. And it's a veritable feast, which I've sort of devised. And so we start with potatoes, some vegetables, carrots, peas, and then we've got, you can either have spaghetti hoops. It might not look very nice, but it works. Or, hold on, where am I? Cheap meatballs. But if you want to go a bit higher in your range, some stewed steak. And there's your main meal. Then for afters, you can have some fruit cocktail with a bit of the condensed milk to pour over. Works very well. Or some rice pudding. Really, very cheap. I'll go over the numbers at the end. And if you're a vegetarian, you don't want to be touching any of the meat products. You just stick with the spaghetti hoops, or you can have some vegetable soup. You either have that on its own, or you can mix it in with the potatoes. It'll make a meal. It's not the best of meals, but it will sustain you, give you a few nutritional points, give you the vitamins that you might need. And well, basically that's it for tea. And obviously, if you've got anything left over, you can either have it for supper, or you can just snack throughout the day. But it will work. And you can see that prior to the apocalypse, I've been frequenting McDonald's and KFC on a regular basis. Extra salt, which you need. You do need salt. Part of the diet, you do have to have a bit of salt in the day. Pepper, not so important, but you might like it. Again, these are relatively cheap, if not free. And then I've got a few sachets of coffee. You can have a few drinks during the day. And then, again, a few snacks. Well, sweets. Again, you need sugar, you need salt, you need sugar, you need vitamins. So a few of these jelly beans or something like that. Mars bars or something similar are very good. You get about 25 pence each if you buy them in bulk like this. So I think that on the basis of that, you've got a varied diet. It will last you during the day. It's not the best of diets, but it's better than what those other people said on the news item. Pasta and beans, it's not going to work. You need a variation. Cooking. I'm not suggesting for one moment that we're not going to have any gas or electricity, but let's just say things do get to the point where you have power cuts, or there's a gas shortage, or for some unknown reason the power just goes out and there's nothing happening at all. How do you cook these things if you need to cook stewed steak, for instance, or your pasta, your noodles? Well, Simple. Matches. These matches are old army issue. You can just get an old box of matches, but I've got these old wind resistant matches. Get these from any camping shop, but you don't have to get those. You can get normal matches. And the secret weapon, candle, tea light candles. Now, believe it or not, if you put this between 2 bricks and the pan on top, just light the candle, and believe me, this will make the water boil if you want a drink. It will make the stewed steak cook right through. It will cook anything that you want it to cook. Plenty of tea lights. They will work just as good as any cooker. Believe me, I've tried it. It works. And in fact, if anybody wants to comment underneath this video to say, I don't believe that load of crap, well, and you want to see it for real, I will do a video on cooking with a tea light in the future if I get enough interest. That's it. The cost of this, I've used, as you can see, smart price stuff, or you can get other similar stuff in shops to make it as cheap as possible. And what I've just shown you, it would work out at less than £2.50 a day per person to eat for a full day. Now, if you consider that's less than one sandwich or less than a cup of coffee in a posh Costa or Starbucks, then you're eating quite well for relatively nothing at all. And of course, if, like I suspect, nothing happens after the 29th of March and we're still getting our food on the shelves and everything's working fine, and you've because of my influence, you've decided to go out and buy loads of beans and loads of steak, stewed steak, and all the stuff I've mentioned here, and prepared all your packs just in case the worst happens, and then you find that you've got all these boxes of food. Well, just take them down to the local food bank. There's plenty of people that will still need food after the 29th of March who can't afford anything. Or go out and look around the street. There's bound to be a few homeless people, and just give it away. But, so I hope that everything works out for everybody after the 29th of March. Like I probably know for 100%, about 99.9% sure it will be okay. I hope to see you again soon. Take care now.